our best 2025 award flight deals, and you can do it too. Travel Award Search has shown you how to search for good award redemptions and what the business class experience is like on several different airlines. We wanted to recap our 2025 real-world award bookings for you. Hopefully they'll serve as inspiration for your 2026. We made 3 big international trips during the year, and we're going to highlight the awards and the redemption values, but keep in mind the real value of these trips was enjoying some terrific experiences when we got to the destinations. We'll talk briefly about those, but feel free to leave a comment if you want to know more. And of course, remember to support us with a like or a subscription. So let's go ahead and get started with the flight that's on the cover. We're going to go in order during the year, and we flew all these flights, it turned out, back and forth from Houston. Our first flight is one from Houston to Santiago, Chile. We love Santiago, but this flight was actually to get there for the start of a cruise. We went on January 20th. We booked this on American with Advantage Miles for just 55,000 miles and $6 a ticket, instead of a cash price of a whopping $5,300 a ticket. So almost 10 cents a mile redemption value. Now, we booked this just 4 days in advance. It was an unusual circumstance. We originally had this flight booked on United for the previous day for 155,000 miles per ticket. However, there was a freeze expected in Houston, and we were very concerned about making the cruise. We booked this flight as a backup 4 days in advance, and sure enough, they announced the airport in Houston was going to close. So we switched to this flight. So this was actually our best redemption from a point standpoint, but very unusual for us to book something that late. The cruise we took from Santiago was actually an Antarctic cruise, which was absolutely fantastic. We saw some wonderful wildlife, incredible icebergs, and fantastic scenery. So I'd highly recommend that if you ever get the opportunity. Now, to come home from Santiago, we booked on Aeromexico, which is not a widely known redemption, but something that can be very good. We used just 53,000 American Express membership rewards points, which transferred with a bonus and also a 1.6 standard ratio to Aeromexico, giving us a little more actually than the 100,000 points that we needed for each ticket. And then we paid $138 in cash. The cash price for those was about $2,500 a ticket, so more than a 4-cent per point value. Now this one we booked much earlier, 9 months in advance, and it went from Santiago to Mexico City and then on to Houston, all in business class. Great timing, great flights. The only problem is today it's very difficult to get through on Aeromexico online. So if you find any flights, which you really have to do using the search tools, and you have to call them. If anyone has any luck with that, please be sure and drop a comment and let us know. In March, we took another rather cold weather trip to Helsinki, Finland, and we were able to book this with a great redemption, 40,000 ultimate rewards points at Chase, converting with a bonus of 20% to 50,000 points at Flying Blue, and then another $250 in fees. That turned into a value of almost 5 cents a point. This flight was on KLM, just had one stop in Amsterdam, a great redemption that we were very excited about for this trip. This was a tour of Finland and Norway, mainly in a search for the Northern Lights, which we were successful in. But we also got to do dog sledding, see reindeer, travel on an icebreaker, as well as seeing some beautiful cities. So a really enjoyable trip. Now, coming home was from Oslo, Norway. And again, we booked this with that Chase transfer bonus of 20%, so we were pretty excited about that. We used 40,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards points again. This time, taxes and fees were $330 a ticket, a little bit more, but also a higher cash price of $2,400, so in the same 5 cents a point range of value. We booked both of these flights pretty early when they first came out, almost a year in advance. This flight was on Air France. Air France and KLM both had similar flight options at these levels, and we decided to take KLM to Helsinki and Air France back from Oslo so that we can compare the two. And if you're interested in that, there is a Flying Blue face-off video where you can see how the two of them compared. And there's some very surprising results in there. Now, the last big international trip we took was to Japan, and we had a rather unusual way of getting there. We took a trans-Pacific cruise that went from Seattle up through Alaska and then down to Japan. Coming back, we just had the flight from Japan, and again ended up flying to Houston. So this flight went from Tokyo Narita through San Francisco to Houston. The San Francisco to Houston portion was in economy class on United. The Tokyo to San Francisco portion was on ANA, and this was in the room business class, which was an excellent experience and the best business class layout of the space that we have seen. We were able to book this on United using Mileage Plus miles for 100,000 points and another $50 a ticket versus a cash price of a little more than $3,300 a ticket. So again, a really good value. We had the United Mileage Plus points already, but you can also transfer from Chase Ultimate Rewards to United Mileage Plus. Japan is a wonderful place to visit, and we had a great time. And we also had a friend join us there, and we helped them make their award redemption to get there, which was spectacular. Their award redemption was done with ANA. We transferred American Express membership rewards points to ANA, and it was 105,000 points and another $450 in fees. This was a round trip ticket redemption, and the flights went from Houston to Tokyo nonstop, and the return was also nonstop. We booked this flight a year in advance, and it was just for one person. We were able to find a business class award coming home from Tokyo, but only premium economy on the outbound flight. So we went ahead and booked that. The ANA system has some unusual aspects to it, so we actually spent the full business class mileage amount while only booking premium economy on the outbound flight, hoping that within a year, a business class seat would become available, and in that case, we could just call again, you have to call, and go ahead and get that upgraded. Since we had a full year, we thought it was likely that would happen. Unfortunately, that was not the case, but our friend said premium economy on ANA was pretty pleasant anyway. Even considering premium economy on the outbound, the cash price of that ticket was almost $8,800, so a point value of 8 cents on that award redemption. So our friend was very excited. At the time, ANA only allowed round-trip redemptions, but now they allow one-ways, so there's a little more flexibility in their system today. Now, we did also do several domestic trips that made use of miles and companion passes. By far, the bulk of our domestic travel was on Southwest. We flew 10 flights, all of them with 2 of us, and had the companion pass. So the companion pass savings, based on the fare we booked for the companion pass holder, was $2,000. That's really understated, though, because we book Southwest fares during really strong sale. Like everyone else, they have a sale almost all the time. But a few times a year, they have a really strong sale that'll be 40 or 50% off. And when that happens, we book as far out as we can with reasonable plans. Now, with the changes in flight credit expirations at Southwest, for basic fares being only 6 months, I would only do that with points. We did start traveling more with the companion pass holder using points. We used to always use cash in order to push for A-list, but with the benefits of their credit cards now giving most A-list benefits anyway, we've moved to using points. So for 52,000 points, we got about $800 worth of travel. The Southwest point value is pretty consistent, right around 1.3 to 1.6 cents per point. So you're not going to get any unusual redemptions with them. We also had a couple domestic flights on United where we used points. 60,000 points for 2 people for 2 flights. So a value of about 2 cents a point, which is pretty good for domestic economy class travel. We had 1 flight on Alaska, actually to go to Seattle for that cruise. We had an Alaska Airlines companion pass, so that saved us about $200. So some nice savings on domestic travel as well. We hope you enjoyed this travel award search video on our best 2025 award flight deals, and that it inspires you for your 2026 travels. Please remember to give us a like or a subscription and drop us a comment. We're happy to answer your questions about the destinations or about points and miles. And as always, travel wisely, travel well. Thank you.